We're back, and this video we're going to be showing the appendicular skeleton, and we're going to start with the clavicle. This is the clavicle. This is the sternum end. So you have the sternal end here, and you have the acromial end here on these sides here. Next, we are going to show the scapula. So we're just going to turn him around here, give a posterior view here. Alrighty, a posterior view. So the first thing that we're going to look at for our posterior view is the coracoid process, as you can see here and here. Okay. Next, we're going to look at the subscapular fossa. It's this area here. Then we're going to look at the glenoid fossa. That would be in this area here. Then you can see the spine. The acromial. Supraspinatus fossa. Supraspinatus fossa, infraspinatus fossa. Next, we will take a look at turn them back around a little bit here. Okay, we're going to look at the sternoclavicular joint, which is here. And the acromial clavicular joint, which is here. Okay, next, we're going to look at the arm. And for the arm, we're going to look at the humerus. This is the head of the humerus. Then we're going to look at the greater tubercle, which is right here. The lesser tubercle, which is right here. The deltoid tuberosity, which is really kind of hard to see on this model, but it would be in this area here. Next, we are going to look at the medial epicondyle. Let's see if I can get a better shot, which is right here in this area. The lateral epicondyle, which is here in this area. Next, we're going to look at the coronoid fossa, which is right here. And the unique thing about the coronoid fossa, what goes there is the coronoid process of the ulna. So here you'll have the coronoid process of the ulna go there. Next, we're going to look at the capitulum. Which again, we're trying to look at on this model. So it's in this area here. And this actually articulates to the radius, the head of the radius. Next, we're going to look at the trochlea. Which would be up here in this area. And the trochlea articulates with the trochlear notch. Next, we're going to look at the olecranon fossa. Should be back here. And for the olecranon, what goes there is the ulna. Next, we're going to look at the forearm or the antebrachial area. And the first thing that we're going to look at here is the ulna, which is right here. Next, we're going to look at the olecranon, which is here. Then we will look at for the ulna, we'll look at the coronoid process for the ulna, which will be under here. And then we will need to look at the styloid process of the ulna, which will be down here. And next, we will be looking at the radius. The head of the radius is here. Then we need to take a look at the radial tuberosity of the radius, which would be in here. And for the radius, we need to look at the styloid process, which is right there. Alrighty. Now we're going to look at the carpus. Let's see if we can get him to turn around here. Okay, it's a better shot. And for the carpus, we're going to look at a few things. The first thing that we're going to look at is the proximal row. Proximal row is the row closest to the wrist. And we have the scaphoid. Next, we would have the lunate. Then we have the triquetrum, which would be here. And lastly, we would have the physioform. So, sorry, and I did that on the wrong hand, so let's go to this hand. So we have the scaphoid, we have the lunate, we have the triquetrum, and we have the physioform. Scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum, and physioform. And next, we will go down to the distal row, which is just a row down. This row here. And we will start with the trapezoid here. And from the trapezoid, we will go over to the capitate. And closest over here, we have the trapezium. Back over past the capitate, we have the hamate. Trapezium, trapezoid, capitate, hamate. So the bone that is joint with the wrist is the radius. Again, this is the radius here. This is the ulna here. And the bones that form the joint to the hallux are the trapezoids. Here in this area. Next, we will take another different look here at the pelvic griddle. Alrighty. And for the pelvic griddle, on the pelvic girdle, we have, to start, the acetabulum. Just going to be right here, the socket here. We then have the pubic symphysis, which is the bone that goes right here in the middle there. We then have the obturator foramen, which is right here. The iliac crest, which is up here. Anterior superior iliac spine. Here. The iliac fossa here. greater sciatic notch there. If you can see that, get my hand out of the way. Greater sciatic notch here. Ischial tuberosity here. And next we're going to go to the femur. Alrighty, for our femur, we have the head here. We have the greater trochanter here, the lesser trochanter here, and next we have the abductor tubercle. Here. Pardon me. Here. Next we have the medial epicondyle. Here, right here on the edge here. So you have the abductor and then you have the medial epicondyle here. Lateral epicondyle here. And the patella here. Next, we will go with the tibia. Tibia is this one here. And for the tibia, we will go with the lateral condyles here. The medial condyles. So laterals here, medials here. Tibial tuberosity. The medial malleolus. And the proximal and distal tribular joints. The inferior tribular joint is here. Superior here. Alrighty, next we will go to the fibula. The fibula is this bone here. Head is here. And the lateral malleolus of the fibula is here. Next, we will go to the tarsus. And for the tarsus, we're going to look at the talus, which is this bone here. And the talus articulates with 3 different bones or 3 different areas. It articulates with the ankle joint, it articulates with the tibia and the fibia, and it also articulates with the inferior subtalar joint between the talus and the calcaneus. So that would be around here in this area. Next, we have the calcaneus, which is the heel, this portion right here. Right here. Then we have the cuboid. Let's see if we can turn the foot back around. Which is right here. It's proximal to the talus. Then we have the navicular, which is the big one right here. Then we have distal the talus. We have the lateral, medial, and intermediate cubiform bones. Lateral, medial, intermediate. Lateral, medial, intermediate cubiform. Lateral, medial, intermediate cubiforms. And then we also have the metatarsals. These are the metatarsals. We have the phalanges and the hallux.